Around about this time of year, I usually give careers talks to local schools. I always thought it was a really important part of our community engagement program and spreading the word about how wonderful the careers in engineering are. But this year, I've had to turn it down. And the reason is I don't know what careers people will have in 10 years' time. The world is changing so quickly. We use AI a lot, we use advanced machines and all the rest of it. And what I'm seeing is that the rate of change is increasing. So not only are things changing quickly, but they are getting quicker all the time. The combination of AI and advanced machines that every single job role that exists now could be replaced in 10 years' time at a commercially viable cost. And that is massive. That is huge. That is massive society change. Sure, I'm sure there'll be new jobs along, but really, the amount of computing power and mechanical dexterity we're now seeing is beyond anything people can deal with. This has to be dealt with properly by governments. Governments are talking about it, but they're not doing anything about it. And considering the timeline for this sort of implementation is really short, it's two government terms. I don't think enough's been done quickly enough. I don't think people realize how disruptive this will be. The change is absolutely phenomenal. This is not something to be taken lightly. Everyone needs to be talking about this now. The combination of advanced computing, AI systems, and machines that are capable of so much more than the human can is it just means there is not one single job that can't be replaced. When you've got access to a full amount of data on the internet, if you think about a GP, a doctor, they have to know a huge amount of knowledge. And someone might present to them with symptoms that haven't been seen for 50 years. When you can replace that with an expert system, it has access to the whole world's knowledge about that thing. It can analyze and diagnose with that entire amount of knowledge. No person can ever do that. So GPs, they could be replaced. The way you analyze someone, well, the scanning technology is improved. So as someone walks into the GP's office, they could be scanned at the doorway. You could have a look at their how much what comes out of their breath. You could do blood tests straight away. The technology is improving all the time, and this means that jobs you thought were safe, like aircraft pilot, doctors, those jobs aren't safe either. And people say, well, they'll never replace plumbers or electricians because of the dexterity you need. Well, imagine a small robot that is designed for plumbing. Yes, it will have three elbows so it can get around that really complicated bit, and its hands will be pliers or vices. It can do the jobs that a plumber physically can't do. And that means you can install systems in tighter spaces. And that means you'll install systems that a plumber could never do because it takes a robot to fit it. So all of the jobs that you thought were secure are under threat. This is not a simple case of we're just changing the types of jobs people have. This is where technology is replacing every single job that we currently have. If we take another example, we look at the fantastic Spot the Dog from Boston Dynamics, that little four-legged robot. Now that's used in things like security guard applications where it's brilliant. It can do perimeter walk rounds constantly, and it can do that with an array of sensors on it. So it can look in infrared as well as visual. It can also examine plants. So for instance, if you've got a large chemical plant, it can look at the temperatures of all the key joints there and say, does that match what temperature that bit should be running at? So it's maintenance as well as security. So we've replaced part of the maintenance crew as well as the security patrol. If some baddie comes in and starts causing a trouble, an ordinary security guard would call for help. The robot will do the same thing. So there's no difference in that respect. When that help arrives, it could be a group of people who could face physical abuse from an intruder. Well, humanoid robots are getting better and better. Okay, they might not be up to it today, but in a year's time, they will be. Think where they were a couple of years ago. They could barely stand up 5 years ago. Now they're doing gymnastics. So the little Spot the Dog calls for help. A load of humanoid robots turn up and they muscle the intruder out the door without any risk to a person. This isn't far future. This is in the next 5 years. Spot the Dog is already patrolling buildings. It's already replacing those jobs. So I'm not talking about some far distant thing that might never happen. I'm talking about stuff that is starting to happen now. And this is a conversation you've just got to talk to your local MPs and say, where are jobs going to be in 10 years' time? This is a conversation that needs to start in earnest right now. This is not trivial.